Okay, so we're at Ogre turn 4. We're still locked in combat with my Battle Standard Bearer. He moves his general's unit up. His Noblars rallied. His Lead Belchers rallied. Just a closer look at what's going on here. Yeah, so really, he's moving up a little bit, but there's only so much he can do unless he wants to get charged by me. And he notice he finally put a wound on that Battle Standard Bearer. So I reform my men-at-arms to come and lend some combat res, and no, not combat res, because the problem I'm having, that building made me stubborn, but now it's also going to make him stubborn. So if I rush the men-at-arms in there hoping for all that combat res, it's not going to do me any good because he's going to be stubborn. So what I thought I'd do is stay in the horde formation, get in there, that way I have a few more attacks, try to get the Lore of Beast spell off to give him +1 strength, so I'd be attacking at strength 5, and hoping to do some good there. What I should have done, I think, is not reform 10 wide, because what it did, it gave him a chance to charge me with his Lead Belchers. It's not a sure thing charge, but it's a possibility. And another oversight was I left my damsel at the end of the line so that if he does get the charge in, she's going to be vulnerable. So a couple silly mistakes there. And here I didn't charge in. Here's the problem I'm facing now. I mentioned this before. That building makes everybody stubborn. So the problem is, if I charge in with my questing knights, I'm going to do, let's say, 6-7 wounds on him, but that's not going to kill the unit. He's got a Battle Standard Bearer, so he's stubborn 8 or 9, rerollable. So more than likely, I'm going to charge in, put a hurting on him, but he's going to stand, and then I'm going to get flank charged by his general's unit. And I can't do it. It doesn't make sense to do it. So I decide just to hold back, see what he does, and try to whittle down that general's unit with my trebuchets before I commit to combat, and preferably just charge them and just let my Battle Standard Bearer just hang out there the rest of the game. So there's another look at things. And you notice that wound is gone. That's because my damsel cast some spell with the Lore of Life, and when it went through, it automatically healed him of his wound. So, and that's the reason I give her the Lore of Life. I really like that benefit. So we go to Ogres 5, and sure enough, he gets his charge in with the Lead Belchers, and 2 of them are going to target my damsel. So silly mistake, stupid mistake on my part. Otherwise, you can see him moving up here. Yeah, that's going to hurt. So at the end of combat, she's dead. They kill a couple more. I'm stubborn because I'm near the building, but I'm only stubborn 6. I have a champion in the unit. But I'm stubborn 6 rerollable, and so they hold. The problem was, I was assuming I'd be able to reform if I passed a leadership test, but it says that you have to pass a leadership test minus however much you lose combat by. And so I just kind of assumed that my guys were stubborn, but it doesn't say anything about stubborn. Stubborn's only for break tests. In terms of this leadership, I was down by enough combat that I couldn't pass my leadership test. So now I'm stuck. I can't reform. And that's something I hadn't considered. So we're still hanging out here. I don't know why that's so funny for me. Brett turn 5. So what I decided to do is go ahead and charge my general in out of the unit of questing knights and leave my unit of questing knights out there, because I don't mind if my general gets flank charged, because he's rerollable 1-up with the ward save, with the Lore of Life spellcaster nearby. I think he's going to survive, and I would love for him to charge in with that unit of Iron Guts, and I can charge them in the flank with my questing knights. So we're really, the game's slipping away, and we're all just kind of dancing over there. But again, I just love this image of Bretonnian characters charging in all by themselves and saving the day. So the trebuchet really, those things are nasty. If they don't, if they don't scatter off, this thing hit their head on. It was an indirect from my far left trebuchet, so it scattered. It was a direct hit, but because it was an indirect, meaning I couldn't see him, when I rolled the direct hit, it still has to scatter the distance on your artillery die minus your ballistic skill. Well, that was a 2, and my ballistic skill is 2, so it was still a dead-on hit. So I killed 3 guys outright and put 2 wounds on another guy. Now I'm not as afraid of that unit. So, it's late in the game, but at least I'm not afraid of it. So at the end of combat, my general kills some folks, but of course we're all locked in combat there. We go to Ogres turn 6. He charges his general out of his unit, so his general hit my general, and the rest of those iron guts just turn towards the men-at-arms. If you notice lower right, my damsel on the horse has a wound on her. That's because she miscast, which is why I put her all by herself, so that when she did those things, she didn't blow up everybody around her. So there's another look at it, and you can see those lead belchers are tearing up my men-at-arms. Beat me by combat every time, but now my general's within 12 inches, so they're stubborn 9 rerollable, so they're not going anywhere, but they're not doing too much harm to those ogres, and I can't pass my leadership test minus how much I lose combat by, which is a lot. They're getting 3 attacks times 4, 12 attacks. They're just putting a hurting on my guys. So there's the infamous combat. It's a shame that banner's kind of hiding it. And this is what it's looking like over here. So you can't really see it. He doesn't do any wounds on me. I do at least 1, maybe 2 wounds on his general. I think I do 2 wounds on the general. My battle standard bearer, though, despite being stubborn 9 rerollable, actually broke this time and fled, which I thought was actually kind of funny. So go to my turn, so my BSB rallies. My questing knights on the right-hand side declared a charge against the iron guts in the middle of the table and failed the charge. So they sat there all game doing absolutely nothing. Good job, guys. Yeah, there's another look at their failure. Yeah, it looks like I did 1 wound on his general last time. And this time I did 2 more wounds on his, so his general's sitting on 3 wounds. I was looking at this. My men-at-arms still got beat up and beat up. They actually killed one of those lead belchers. I was looking at the table, and it was a real fun game. I was looking at thinking his butcher's down to half points, his tyrant's down half points, his both unit of iron guts are down at half points. He has a unit of bulls dead, and the nobblers on the far right are under half because I hit them with a trebuchet. And now I lost a big unit of knights errant and my knights of the realm, but my characters are all at full points, and I think feeling pretty good about it. And he pointed out, I mean, it doesn't really matter, we play this for fun, but he pointed out that under the new rules, half points don't count anymore. It's only about the units you destroy. So he didn't lose anything except for 1 unit of bulls, and you know, and I lost 2 full units. So that's a big difference in the game now. If that's the way, if winning by victory points is important, you really need to focus on units and get them completely killed, and you no longer can be satisfied with just getting things down halfway. So lots of lessons learned in this game. It was a beautiful game. I think 2 really well-painted armies and a lot of fun. If anything, I feel bad because I didn't go out there and throw my knights in the action and let them kill some stuff like they're kind of supposed to do. But I kind of need to quit making mistakes before I can afford to do stuff like that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it.